Hello, everyone. I think this is going to be a very personalized question and answer session today. So I can invite my host to kind of add everybody to the panelists so they can unmute themselves and ask me any question rather than a presentation. I would like to have a one-on-one conversation that they might have. Okay, so we'll be adding you guys to the panelists so you can unmute yourself and ask me a question. For now, we're just going to wait like a few more minutes here and there, and then we'll talk about SQA, Software Quality Assurance Engineering career today, and I'll be happy to answer all the questions you might have. I'll introduce you guys who I am in a moment. Let's have everybody join. Thank you. Let's just know each other a little bit. Today's session is absolutely free. I know you guys are here to know more about the career, so let's just get introduced and we'll take it from there. I am Sheikh Galib Rahman. As you see that I've been in the industry for about 16 years now. I've been training people for about 14 years. Because ever since I started my career, I started helping other people. So throughout my career, I worked for Accenture, Capgemini, IBM, lot of the consulting company, and I was the global program manager for Accenture for QA and DevOps across the globe, right? Here's my LinkedIn. You can go always and check it out later. So that was my last role that I was in the industry. So I led a big QA practice all across the world for Accenture. Accenture is one of the largest tech consulting company of the world. They have offices in 120 different countries. And they do all sort of IT consulting, but the QA is one of the greatest one. And they provide supports to the big corporations, big Fortune 500 corporations all around the world. So I was happy to be one of this lucky guy. But before that, I was also part of government side of the world. So I served as the QA manager at the US Department of Homeland Security, specifically for USCIS, the Immigration and Services, on behalf of Capgemini. I served, the Federal Reserve Bank and doing a lot of QA. So I come from extensive QA background. This is my government side of the world, the consulting side of the world. So I also worked for a few banks, US Federal Reserve. I got a couple of pictures here, PNC, Capital One, and JP Morgan Chase, and Huntington. So I worked for a lot of companies over the time, gathered experience, seen around the world. From that experience, I founded this company, Transfotech Academy, in 2012 in New York. Ever since, I think we have helped more than 3,000 people to achieve their dreams, get trained and get jobs. And I was not teaching recently by myself, but then we have great instructor panels, career advisors, recruiters. We have everything that you need to get you a job. But then I'm back to teaching again because QA is my domain. Software engineering is my domain. So I'm back again. I will be teaching this batch by myself, like 70% of it. And then I will have one of my co-instructor will come and make you guys ready for the job, the internship jobs. Before that, we have some great people. Take a look. All of them are managers and above in the industry. Some of them are cybersecurity instructors. Some of them are business analysis, cloud, and QA. And what else we teach? I think AI engineering is something that we about to start from next month. So during this academy, we run a proper set of employment recruitment basis. So again, today we are here to talk about the specifically QA engineering job, right? I hope that you all know you guys are here to learn about the QA career. Now, I'm a QA leader. I've been in the QA industry 16 years, top 8 companies of top 100 around the world, global team, manual automation, homeland security, big projects, and helped a lot of immigrants, South Asians, because I live in New York. So a lot of people through the jobs. But now I've been hearing one thing for sure, that QA jobs are going away. AI is coming, replacing QA. All sort of kind of question. And then market after post-COVID market got so laid off, so slow, hard to get a job before. I would like to answer all of these concern or questions if you guys have. So if you have those questions and true concern, ask me today, because I'd like to tell you the industry insight, because I really know what's going on and what's going to happen. Because someone who works in an industry for 16 years can predict. They have industry insights. So rather than you're asking your friends and someone else in your neighborhood, trying to make a decision whether you're going to pursue an IT career, specifically start with QA or not, rather than you asking them, you ask me. I'll give you an explanation. But before that, before I go farther into QA, do you guys want to kind of give me a little bit about yourself? You can unmute yourself and just talk, right? I want to know who you are. I mean, where are you from? What state? What do you do? A little bit about yourself. That'll help me to kind of, understand the audience, okay? I want to make this session as conversational as possible. Okay, go ahead. One raised hand. Go ahead, brother. Unmute yourself.
Hey, how you doing? Assalamu alaikum. My name is Arslan. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
I noticed you said you're from Jamaica?
Our main office is in Jamaica, even though we moved in Manhattan last month. But yes, Jamaica is the base. Used to be the base the last 10 years.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm right next door. I'm in Elmont, so I'm in Long Island,
Oh,
New York.
Elmont. Right,
Yeah.
right. So you're in Queens.
Yeah, right next door. I have a extensive background in sales, real estate. I've been on more of the entrepreneurial journey in my 20s, and I'm looking for a bit of a career shift, looking for somewhere where there's growth, because he's a manual QA. He's working his way into automation. So he kind of gave me the breakdown of it. Seemed pretty interesting. So I started doing some research, came across you guys, and now we are here.
Very good. What country are you from?
I'm Pakistani.
Right, good. I think there are a lot of great Pakistani communities around that, and at least I have given job to at least 50 plus of them.
So where I'm from, it's very mixed, Pakistani, Bengali, Indian.
Right.
Very big Bengali community here. So even the masjid I go to, the mosque I go to is Bengali.
Right. Interestingly enough, I'm going to show you a picture of mine at the Homeland Security, the Immigration Department. I hired all my own people. We like to hire our own people because we know more Bengali people, Pakistani people. There are many roles, right? Within the IT, you can ask me that why would you do QA in particularly? I would say the QA is some kind of role that our people got in like 15 years ago. Now they became manager. So what I was saying that, 80%, I would say 80% of the QA industry you will find South Asian people, Bengalis, Pakistanis, Indians, of course a lot of Indians, right, and Nepalese. That is a plus point for South Asians. It is not it's nothing that if you're not South Asian you're not going to get a job. There are a lot of open positions in the market. I'd like to hear from someone else.
Hello, my name is Sheikh Manzoor Elahi.
Brother, how are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Now I'm living in Minnesota, Minneapolis.
You're looking for a QA career? Why you are here today?
Yeah, of course. I have already signed up for the QA career, but I couldn't start for some personal reasons past few months to start doing that. Though I am quite old.
I had a lady, my colleague was 64 years old. Her name was Patty, a white woman. Age is just a number, so you have good chances.
The other thing is I'm not too much familiar with coding and all that. So I was just wondering
that's our expertise. I will treat you everybody as kind of kids, even though you know something, you don't know something. This is a cohort course. I will make sure that everybody runs at the same pace. So no worries. I'll teach you everything from the scratch.
That's what I wanted to know.
Today, I would teach you something. I mean, talk is cheap. I just don't want to talk. I want to teach you something for free. So everybody's happy. Everybody gets some ideas about the software industry. If you talk to me few more people open up and talk to me, that kinds of, help me to break the ice. It would be a greater session. So thank you, brother. Thanks for
sorry to interrupt. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes. Walaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. So I have a very basic question, but I don't want like a basic answer because like Google করলে আমি দেখছি SQA অনেক abstract term আসতেছে, কিন্তু আপনি কি একটু আমাকে একটু ডিটেইলসে একটু শর্ট ডিটেইলসে একটু বলবেন যে এই QA টেস্টিং সবার মুখ থেকে শুনি QA টেস্টিং, এই QA তে আসলে কি স্কিল সেট লাগে এবং এটা এই যে টেস্টিং versus bugging, এই দুটো জিনিস কি সিমিলার, মানে QA পার্থক্যটা কি?
The brother have asked that what are the basic skill set to be a QA, but he also asked me that not to reply him shortly but to elaborate, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But in short, since you asked me what is the top 1 or 2 skills that someone must have to be a QA, I would say analytical skill to think. The quality assurance engineer's job is to check the quality of the product. So what skill do you need is to be able to look through things, be able to focus on details. Quality assurance is not just in software. Quality assurance, we do quality assurance in every sector of life. For example, when you go to buy a cloth, like a dress, you check the quality, right? How's the quality of the cloth? You do that. When you cook something, you mix up a lot of masalas together to cook a curry. In every steps, when you mix a new masala, you check the quality and then you take actions. If you put more salt, then you balance it out with more water. So in every development, when we build something, when we cook something, or when we create software, quality assurance is part of the development. To do so, you need to be able to analyze things. Those are the good testers. Software quality assurance engineers are also called software testers. If I ask you, if you come into this room and I tell you check the quality of the room, what are you going to do? There will be some people like they don't know where to look at, where to start, like always like angry, like anxious type of people, a lot of dopamine people, right? We have people in our quality assurance term. Those are not the ideal people. The ideal people are, when I tell you check the quality of the room, ideal people are that can think that where should I start, okay, and then plan and analyze, okay, let's see what do we have in this, what are the different things we have, okay, so I have to check the quality of the switch. So if I turn the switch on, the lights gets on, and then we have windows, doors, to be able to see things and clarify. So analytical brain makes a good QA engineer. So that's the number one skill. If you don't have that patience brain, calmness, be able to look into details, be able to check everything once at a time, you're not going to be a good QA, right? So that's the first skill. And then in terms of software QA, what is software? Why do we need QA? What happens if we don't do QA? As a QA, how you're going to work in a software team? I will show you everything today. And as you see that, if you see my screen, right? I hope you see my screen. Everything with you guys. We're going to go through kinds of softwares, what kind of softwares, the front end, back end, different kinds of softwares, and we'll talk about what are the corporation who use the softwares and how the team will look like, all of these in detail. So I have prepared a slide here that I would like to show you all these in details. Before that, I would like to hear from one or two more people. Where are you guys from? How many people are here from New York and outside of New York?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
I am from Buffalo.
From Buffalo.
Yes.
Buffalo. Good, great. There's a lot of jobs in there nowadays.
Yeah.
So you are looking to be a QA too, or you are just gathering information, and what's your situation right now?
Actually, I did data science, master of data science, and
That's great.
I'm trying to get a job. I cannot find the right way. I'm interested about QA. This sector is easier.
Very easier.
Yeah, that's
The
why
four-
I want to know about this, and how can, the real fact, if I know, maybe I will do that. You will help the placement which I need.
Thank you, sister. You have a little bit of experience in data science and you need some sort of placement. Yes. This is not just a training. I was going to tell everyone that this 6 months, this is a program that will get you a job. We have 6-step process. And it's broken down into 6 steps, right? The first is counseling, which I'm doing kind of thing today. And then we have a set of career counselor. They will counsel you, right? From goal setting, that how your next 6 months will be, how many times you have to do the homework, and all those things, they will be given it to you after this session today. We have Mr. Jisan with us, the career advisor. Jisan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So make sure you help everyone do the counseling after this, whatever they need. And then enrollment in the course, and then lectures and lab. And this is where I come in the picture. I will teach you the full QA course, mostly 70% of them from the scratch, okay? Starting from today, right? I'm gonna start in a moment. After that, I will give you an internship to do, a little bit of internship. And this is what we do to get your job ready, right? Because during the labs and lectures, you learn from me a lot of theoretical things. Question asking, you can ask me any question. I'll give you some reference videos to watch at your own time. you have to study like 4 to 5 hours a week, and that'll be fine. Apart from my class lectures, so a lot of self-studying, right? And then once you are done with the lectures and labs, we'll put you in internship, and then we'll prepare you for the interview. So who prepares you for the interview? We have Mr. Rasul. He's also from Bangladesh, and he's the QA manager of Madison Square Garden right now in Manhattan. He's been teaching QA for 20 years. I don't know how many people he helped. So he comes in the picture, polish you guys up, give you some projects, help you with the projects, and then we create your resumes, and then we prepare you for the interview, how to answer questions. And then during the job marketing, this is our crucial part. Since we are an academy for 14 years in Manhattan, we have built our own recruiting team, right? They're remote, they're multiple places, but they are so expert marketing, do the job marketing of your resume. So this is a full service. This is not a training. This is a training, resume service, job marketing, and even after you getting an offer, right? We'll be with you until you choose an offer and sign the contract with them. So this is the program, but then you need to have a lot of patience for that. So this is called cohort type course. I don't know if you know these guys. Cohort means that we create a group and we go with that, and there will be multiple steps until we achieve our end goal, which is the job. But then what happened in this kind of course, a lot of students lose their motivation when things get hard. So I would request, if you sign up for good. Don't quit. Be with me 6 months. Just stick to that. How hard life gets, how hard the course gets, right? You don't understand anything, reach out to us. We'll help, we'll give you all the additional help, because the nature of the course will be cohort, right? And the cohort means we don't leave anyone behind. We go together. So if you can stick to the end of the program, 6 months, you will be, more like 70% people gets ready out of this program if you stick to that. If you have to retake, we offer free retake. You can always retake the course. Okay, I hope that you come to the right place, and not only you're just gonna learn QA, you're gonna go through all the steps until you land a job. We will hold your hand. Thank you. And your data analytical skill, that the course you've done will add a great value, because you've done something in IT. And QA is the easiest thing in IT. In entire core IT, the easier thing to get.
Hey brother, that's what I was gonna ask you. You just brought that up. So would you say the barrier to entry in QA is it's a good starting point to get into tech, to break into it?
It's used to be, because great question, right? As you saw my background, first got into tech, it was 2010, I guess, right? That time the QA market was so immature. Even if you know 50%, the corporation will hire you with 100K. So eventually there are a lot of candidates came in, industry grew more, demand also grew more. So there might be some competitions out there, or more competitions than ever before. But the jobs are there. As you see by my screen right now, I was Googling it, right? Every QA engineer makes 90 to 100K. I don't remember a student of mine ever got a less than 100K job. If you don't get it, you don't get it. If you get it, it's more than 100K. So I think having this dream, having this vision, it will drive you. And trust me, I'm saying it today. It is coming out of somebody who's doing it for 16 years, help thousands of people. This is true. It's there for you. You just have to go get it. So sign up, walk with me, don't quit, no matter what. If it doesn't happen in 6 months, it's gonna happen in 1 year, okay?
How much is the course?
How much the fees?
How much is the 6 months of commitment?
All of them are cohort.
Okay, how much is, what is the financial commitment that we need to anticipate to have in order to...
This course is, listen, the cohort course are very, very reasonable. I don't know, Jisan will tell you, we have a couple of payments planned, but it's less than 5% of what you're gonna make. I don't know the numbers varies. Very, very limited. A few $1,000s maybe would be the course, the commitment, depending on how you pay. So the payment is not a deal breaker. The commitment is. If you tell me how much is the commitment you need to make to actually get there, by the time what I'm saying, you need to study, let's say 10 hours a week. If you can put 10 hours a week and every week in next 6 months, if you don't get a job in 6 months, I will give you a job. But you have to put 10 hours studying every week for next 6 months. Most of the people can do that. We have life, we have jobs, we have other stuff, so you're not able to do it. So what we do is we do the class and we do 2 to 3 hours of study. Sometimes we don't do it. It's more important that you commit to this course. I commit to myself, commit to yourself for 6 months. That's what makes it cohort. We're a team, right? Exactly what you're gonna be doing when you get a job. Let's say you got a job. Let's say I gave you a job today for 100,000. You start the job. How your first 6 months will be? New job, a lot of commitments, right? You didn't do job before. You need to catch up. You need to learn. You need to grab everything you need, right, from other people, so that you perform and you secure your job. You keep doing the job, right? Exactly. Why don't you start 6 months earlier? Why don't you start from today?
I'd say there are lots of people, especially in Washington, D.C. area, that are losing their jobs at exponential rate, and they are willing to spend more than 50 hours per week to have a chance to get a job. So is the 6 months, is it possible to condense the 6 months to even shorter period, because unemployed people have all the time to commit just to have a light at the end of the tunnel?
No. So listen, so job is not on your hand. It's on your luck, right? So what you can do, what you should do, if you ask me, can someone get job ready with all the experience, modern QA experience with AIs, and we have included AIs in this course. So can someone get all the experiences in 6 months and put it in your resume and get interviews and perform in the interviews? Yes, that's our job. Leave it on to us. All you have to do is just study and go along. Now, whether you're gonna get an offer or not, to be honest, that's on your luck. That's the placement, time and space, and there's a lot of things involved, right? But I always say one thing: if you take 10 interviews, one will turn into a job. So your goal would be to keep interviewing rather than getting frustrated, rather than looking into other people. There's one thing. If you look into other people, if you start picking up what you hear from the street, it'll always be a distraction. So I'm an industry expert at a very top level, right? I'm telling you, yes, there has been competition. Yes, there has been challenges with QA jobs, but there has been challenges with AI. But if you can adapt AI with QA, there are jobs. The jobs didn't go anywhere. It's just the competition went high. And competition of AI, machine learning, and some new tools that is impacted all other industry also. We have included those things in the curriculum. Let's say nobody wants to hire someone who doesn't know ChatGPT. That's just a regular skill. Like there was a time when nobody would hire anyone without Excel, right? PowerPoint. Right now, ChatGPT and few other tools. So what we have done, we have included them into this course.
Yes, does the training include manual and automation? And from automation, which tools are mainly used, like Selenium, Cucumber?
Of course. So first we'll teach you what QA is and how to do manually, and then all the aspects. This is a full QA engineering course, right? Full stack QA engineering. And we even call it a full stack QA engineering, right? Class 1, we start with software, all the basic fundamental, and then we teach you Jira, all the tools. We go to database, SQL, and so on and so forth. And we also teach you web service testing, right? Then we teach you, test automation framework with Cucumber, Java, right? And then, now this many automation classes, and our automation goes extreme: CI/CD, Gits, everything that you need. Okay, but automation testing Java Selenium is there for last 15 years. Now a lot of people, you say that a lot of people are, getting laid off because Java Selenium is not even enough nowadays. There are new tools comes in. Playwright, have you heard of that? Playwright is taking over, right? We will put that some classes to teach you that as well in the interview. Those are the thing. If you go for always, if you keep yourself up to date, I don't think you'll have to worry about getting a job. So this is a very enhanced curriculum. We know the market is tough. We know the jobs are getting harder. It's not like that before. So this course it's gonna be very helpful for you to bring the up-to-date skill, okay?
Who are the major right now companies that are hiring for QA?
Who doesn't hire QA? How do you even build a software without a QA, right? Your question, I'm liking your questions. You're on point. I was going to show you, I had slides here. I was going to show you how software development works, right? This is a software development team. QAing, software testing is not a job it's not an isolated job. It is a teamwork. So to develop any sort of software, applications, apps, all these kinds, right? All these kinds basically, either it is a TV apps or it's in car apps or it's in phone apps or it's on website. Do you think corporation will stop building those apps? Never. So in order to build those apps, you need a software development team. This is not one person's job. Within the software development team, QA comes in the picture along with some other roles, which is business analyst, a designer, developers, and then QA. So you tell me, without QA engineers, there won't be a software development team. So if you have to replace QA engineers, someone must need to assure the quality. Who's going to do that?
Don't you think that by the AI helping to reduce the coding time to 90%, to pair
Right.
programming, one developer will test, the other one will develop, and by pair programming?
If developers could do the testing, then it could have been, since the beginning, there would have been no necessity of QA. Because the QA, we want a different person to test because we want to have a different perspective of. If you develop on your own and you test, you're not going to find your own mistakes. That's the first reason why we have QA engineers separately, separate set of engineers who are experts in finding problems and to check the quality, right? AI coming in, replacing a lot of coding, this is great. So that's how you will learn QA. Even if you have to code as an automation engineer as a QA, you will use AI. It will reduce amount of people who work in QA, but you will get a job because you know AI. There need to be some people, let's say, what I'm trying to tell you is there used to be a 10 QA in a team. Now AI comes, makes it 5. Only those 5 survive who knows the AI. But it's not going to be no QA at all replaced by AI. That's not going to happen. If that's your understanding, that's where you are wrong. That's what I'm saying. Do this course. You are good to go for next 3 to 5 years. And every course, every position has a lifetime. You have to evolve. You get into the industry as a QA, easiest with AI, this course. Work next 2 years, move on to BA, move on to Scrum Master, move on to other things. I think that's kind of the mentality and perception you should have about this career. QA is your path to get in.
Thank you for the answers. What are the official QA related certificates that could come with the cohort?
So we're going to give you a certificate of completion and we're going to make a resume for you. And with that resume, there will be some projects that you do with us. With that, you'll be able to set up interviews. QA industry doesn't go by there is no ISTQB. There's one certification out there globally, but when we hire people, we don't really care about them. We care about the interview and the resume, the year of experience and your interview. Okay, so we'll prepare all those resumes for all of you. We'll help you with the interview, and even we help you with the verifications as well. We have a department for that.
Is the business operating in the United States? Is the business registered in the US, or it operates in, let's say, India or Pakistan or Nepal? We just join from every other part of the world.
Are we an American business?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a funny question. Of course, we are E-verified. We've been doing, we are right in New York and we are right in LA. We have 2 campuses.
Thank you.
All right, I hope that answers your question. All right, so anybody else has a question before we start, or I will jump to start the course?
I want to know about the duration of the class.
It would be 2 days a week for now, mostly the Friday and the Saturday. So the Friday would be the class day, and the Saturday would be practice day, right? So it's 1 day live lectures and the other day is group works and doing projects, things like that. And the duration is altogether, it's 4 months is the course, 1 month of internship.
Every class, how long?
2 hours. And it would be most likely 8 to 10, yes.
Okay. Yeah,
8 to 10. I mean, I take 2 hours class, it'll be sufficient. Because when I would be taking classes, I would not talk a lot of things. I will be focusing on points, answering questions. But if we have to stay sometime longer, I would keep you like 30 minutes here and there, but not less than 10-30.
On Saturdays, it's going to be 8 to 10 also, like PM.
Saturday could be flexible. It depends on normally what we do. We'll create 2 groups among yourselves, and I'll let you guys practice, do projects. Sometimes I'll come from the other instructor as necessary. It could be there could be a flexibility, but mostly keep that time for everybody's betterment.
Saturday, রাত না হয় দিনের বেলা হলে ভালো হয়, অনেক সময় প্রোগ্রাম
All
থাকে।
right. Basically, we are a team, and when we start the class, we will create our own schedule. That's also part of being cohort, right?
ওকে
You will
ওকে
never be able to cohort until you can work with the team, right? By the way, this picture right here was my own picture, okay? A lot of years ago. So this guy right here is this is a Scrum Master, more like a leader of the software team. This guy right here is called Business Analyst, responsible for getting all the requirements from the clients about the project, about the software that we're building here. And these guys are coders. They will code it. These guys are designers. These guys are my QA. So you see that this is a teamwork. And as you see that how many stickies are in there. So the first thing you need to learn before you get deployed to the real job is to how to work with the team. Okay? So getting job is not everything here. The purpose of this course. Also, when you get the job, you need to learn how to act like QA also. So that's why I do a lot of organic things.
I have a question. So the
Sure.
thing is, I thought there was a remote work, but it seems like it's more like an in-person job.
Okay, so good thing. You guys are asking me a question. I'm actually covering everything that I was going to show you anyway. So jobs, right? I showed you the salary, right? 90 to 120. This is what Google's saying. So you can think of somewhere like 100K in between to start with, more or less. Jobs. I was looking for. So look at this one. Quality assurance engineer with Copilot Studio Voice AI. So all these old QAs that have been working for last 15 years never upgraded themselves to AI would not be qualified for these roles. But someone like you who just learned QA would be qualified because we can teach you Copilot. Okay, so let's say remote, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are jobs.
Mhm.
There are jobs remote, right?
Okay.
100
Yeah,
plus
if
jobs.
you can tell me that if there are remote jobs, that would be fine. And my other thing is, have you already fixed the dates for Friday and I mean, you said Friday and Saturday?
Friday is normally what I'm thinking to start to take the classes, and the Saturday is not fixed yet, but I will talk to all the students who signs up for this course and we'll fix it eventually.
Actually, Saturday is all right with me, but Friday I have work. The place I work work till 10. I'm in the Central Time, so I won't be able to join during Fridays.
Okay, so we'll see what we can do about that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So remote jobs are available, but
Okay.
last two years ago, I would say 90% QA jobs are remote. In my life, I have trained students, so many of them that I have never seen them in my life. Sometimes I meet them in the airport. They're like, "Oh, Sheikh, you trained me." I'm like, "Oh my God, I forgot." So they were remote, right? I trained Aisha. She was in West Virginia. You know, if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see how many people, a lot of them. So I trained Aisha. She was in West Virginia. I was in New York. I still now didn't meet her. So there's a video somewhere over here about Aisha. So these are all the people we have helped, right? So go check them out sometime. I don't know which one, but then there's a video of Aisha that I made 2 years later. After she was in the market, and we were having fun about it. We never met each other, but we're still in touch. Anyways, so let's start the course. Anyone want to say anything else before we start?
I have another question. Do we
Sure.
need a specific configuration computer for doing the course, or just any computer will?
No, you need a decent computer. Every computer in US is decent, I believe. You need just like a decent computer, nothing special. Either it is Windows or Mac or whatever, it doesn't matter. Any operating system will work.
Okay.
I think you need an i7 with 16 gigabytes of RAM. Any computer will work like that, okay? For learning purposes. So, yeah, not everybody told me where you guys are from, but I'm assuming you guys are from New York or somewhere in the US looking for a job. So I told you about my background. Here's a screenshot of that. I have done a lot of work in QA and many other positions, but today I'll be teaching SQA. Software Quality Assurance Engineer is one kind of software engineering. Matter of fact, all these people that you see are working in a team, they are all software engineers, right? That's why they are a software development team. So QA is one kind of engineer, developers are development engineer, there are release engineers, and then managers, so on and so forth, right? So first we need to understand that the kinds of softwares, right, that is being used nowadays today by the business. I only care about the business because here we are to get a job, right? And of course you're going to get a job in a company. So there are these kinds of softwares are being used nowadays, right? Websites, we all know. Actually, it's called web applications. Softwares are also called applications. In applications is the IT word. Softwares are the street words that everybody uses. But when you get a job, you're gonna hear people are saying applications. So I would say web application, mobile application, tablets, car application, TVs. You can relate to this picture. In your smart TV, there are a lot of apps. In your website, when you go to the browser, you have websites. This is an application. And you have mobile applications, you have CarPlay application. These are the main types of applications the business would use nowadays. Now, you tell me, you ask me, you give me name that satellite has softwares. Even your gas station, a little gas machine that takes your card has softwares. Yes, those are true. They are all softwares. But at least we can agree upon that these are the kinds that every business wants to have. So every business, in terms of who are the business that might use these softwares, let's understand them, right? What kind of businesses? Banks use the software. You're not gonna find a single bank who doesn't use phone applications and then web application, and sometimes the voice, the Alexa, all those voice assistance applications as well. Example of a banking software would be chase.com. This is a software built and managed by a software development team, and QA, it comes within that, right? Then Bank of America, another software. Every banks use them, right? And then apart from bank, insurance company, let's say you want to get an insurance quote today, you're gonna go to Geico, right? Geico login, quote for my auto, right? You're gonna go to Google. Google itself a software, web application. But I'm trying to show you how we use software, how businesses use software to sell their services to you. So you're gonna type this. What you get is Geico insurance quote, right? So what it is a software. Now, if this piece of link doesn't work one day, this guy doesn't work one day, let's say you're starting with your zip code, like 11432 is my zip code, right? And when I put this into this box, it should take my input, and when I click this button, it should give me some sort of code. Or it should do something. This is a button. If for some reason this button doesn't work for one day, if it's malfunctioning, this software, do you think how much money Geico will lose? Tons. So you can relate to what I'm saying, right? For each of these business, even e-commerce, what is e-commerce? Is Amazon, eBay, all of these sites. Now, Amazon become the largest mall, online mall of the world, just through its applications, web applications, mobile applications, what else? Cars, Apple Watch could have applications to watch applications, TV applications. So if you compare between Walmart and Amazon, the only difference, they sell the same product, right? They sell everything. The only difference between Walmart's model and Amazon's model is Walmart is physical, Amazon is online. So when there is no physical store of something, then this application becomes its own store, just like this website. This is Amazon.com. That's their store. But what it is actually, what is Amazon.com? Technically, an application. Why I call it an application? Because when I open a tab in my browser, I type this URL and I click in something, if I click right now, what I'm gonna see right now is all the information from Amazon's database coming into my browser so that I can shop, so that they can sell. So these couple of things are happening, right? If Amazon didn't have these URL, and I mean to say if Amazon didn't have any of this correct, right? So they will need to have this URL that works in my browser properly. When I hit enter, it brings all the data from the server to my browser and display it for me in a nice way, create an UX, create a user interface for me so I can look for the product I want so that I can buy them. You might ask me, oh, well, now I can see a lot of things. I can see an URL, I can see a browser, then where the data will come from, where the data are right now. Okay, data are stored in a server. So we have 3 sides of the software. Now we are getting into the software engineering, okay? Understanding the front end, the back end. So which is the front end? This is the front end, Amazon.com. I'm gonna click right now. When I'm gonna click, you're gonna see all the data is there. And you're gonna see the Amazon's homepage. So this is the front end. All right, you see that? What we see right now is a picture of a shoe, picture of a mug and all these things. A moment ago, it wasn't there. All these pictures, all this information, all this data, text, image, wasn't there in my computer. And I don't have this in my computer, you know that for sure. So it had to come from somewhere else. And that is the back end. So now we can call this as a front end. And of course, there is a back end. That's where all the data is. And that's where the data is coming from. And that is something like this. And now you're going to tell me, oh, well, I see the front end. Okay, front end is something I can see because it's in my browser. And you all know what a browser is, right? Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox, these are the browser, right? So you open a browser and type an address. This is an address for a server. Nothing else. We call it URL. A lot of people call it link, but link is in a street name. Right now, we're gonna have to start picking up words like a software engineer. So the actual word would be URL, Unified Resource Locator, right? So this URL is basically an address of a server. Technically, that when we click this URL, when we click enter, a request goes to the server in the backend. What goes? A request. And now you're gonna ask me, how it goes? It's just same way when I send you a text, you receive the text. What goes? Information passes, right? So there is a protocol how your front end browser exchange information with your backend, right? Front end is talking to the backend. Talking in a sense of front end is sending requests for the information, and the backend has the information, all the picture, images, data. But when front end query the information, backend provides those data. Something brings back to your browser. This communication between front end and back end of a software is called web service. So if you understand these 3 things, your first ABCD of software development part have done. You've learned it. Front end, back end, and web service. Now, why it is important? Let's say I go to Amazon again, okay? So all this information came from the back end. So Amazon sent a request, said, give me information, and the server sent back all the information. If I go more in particular, let's say I'm gonna look for an iPhone. Do you see any iPhone here on the screen? No, right? Because I haven't asked for it. Now, through my browser, I'm gonna send a request to the server saying that give me all the information about an iPhone. I don't want to see anything else. How do I do that? As a user, I need to be able to type, because this is my front end UX, right? I need to be able to type iPhone here. First of all, I have a little box here, right? That needs to work. So some developer have created this, right? So I need to test. So I'm gonna type iPhone here. Now I have typed iPhone, right? Now if I click enter, Then this browser will send a request to the server, carrying this, informing the server that give me information about iPhone. And then server immediately sends all the information iPhone, and this web page will display this for me. Right? So let's check. iPhones are there. So these pictures, images, everything, all these things that you see right now came from the server within a millisecond. Can anybody tell me where is the server of Amazon? Now, servers are computers. They're big, giant computers with a lot of data space, a lot of database connected together. That's where the data gets stored. And without data, no business will be able to sell any products. Same thing for Geico, right? It pulls the data from the database. Now, at least you got the point. So what I'm trying to tell you today, at least this much, that in order to be a software engineer, you need to understand the front end, back end, and this communication piece, which we call web services. Any question about this? Is there anybody who didn't understand anything what I said? That's okay, first class, I don't judge, but speak up. That's also a practice. That I didn't get a thing that you said.
To simply put it, so front end is kind of what you see at face value, right? It's kind of like it's the product itself. For example, like you're on the website, that would be front end.
This is the front end. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then back end is where like the coding takes place?
No, even the front end has coding, right?
Okay.
So if you right click and go to inspect, you can do that in any Google Chrome browser. So who do you think created this little button for you? Someone had to write code to do that. That's what you do. You create the front end, you create the back end, and you create the service. So this is the job for the entire software development team. I was just about to get into that, right? To show you, that's exactly why I started to kind of draw the bigger picture, that what would be this entire software team doing, and why do we need multiple people, and why do we need to test a lot of things? Because if any of this piece doesn't work, the whole business breaks. That's our job, to test everything, to make sure all these pieces of the pies are working independently and as a group. So, all right, so what I was showing you guys, that let's take a look at the code behind the front end. So the front end developer have developed this code that gives me this nice front end, right? Inspect. So where did I go? Let's say I go to chase.com. Any website you go, you right click and you go to inspect, and it's gonna let you see the code behind it. You cannot change it, but you can see that. Here we go, right? Now you want to inspect a specific element within the website, you can also do that. Let's say I want to see the code for this blue button. So you see that there might be, you see this. So you click in here, the arrow, and you can move your cursor in any elements of the website. So each of these elements of your front end, which is we call UI, user interface, front end is just also a given name. Actual name would be user interface, where user can interact, right? User interface. GUI, graphical user interface. These all are the same name, GUI, UI, GUI. That refers to the front end. So in the front end of an application, every single element, like this is a button, this is a drop down, this is another button, are separately developed by a developer. How do you develop? You can inspect the code, right? So let's say I click in here, that you see to the right side, it identifies the exact lines of code, this one line of code that is responsible for the shop now button. Once again, look at this. All right, let me make it a little bigger for you so you understand, okay? You see that text, shop now? Shop now? This is how it displays here. Just because the text is here, it gets displayed here. So these text, shop now, came from the server. but it didn't came directly through the front end of the user. The browser also has two sides, right? Again, you don't see that. Now this is the front, but it also has a back side, which you probably never thought of until this point. But I think now you know. So you go to right click and go to inspect to see the back side of a browser. So the data comes from the server in the back side, and the developer has built these things such a way that it displays to the user. It doesn't display those ugly things, because if you had to see these after making a query for an iPhone, if you need to see these and you'd be like, okay, where's the picture? It'll be messed up, right? That's exactly why this thing works that way. But the point, what is the point? Why I'm showing you all this? You need to test all these independently. So what is a defect or what's a problem can occur within this QA testing, right? Within this website, let's say this thing is an element where you can supposed to type iPhone or type a pen. For some reason, you're not able to click this button. Do you think you'll be able to look up the product? Do you think this browser will send the request and get the data that you need? No. You need to test this button.
Actually, what will be the job of tester? What will do?
That's exactly what I'm showing you. Testing all those things separately.
What will we test?
You will test this software, right?
Oh, okay.
If you do manual testing, that's that's the whole course is all about, right? So, but in one sentence, you will test this software. If you need to test the entire software, if there is 3 parts of the software, then you have to also do the testing in 3 parts. Front end testing.
Front end, back end, web service.
And web service testing. We'll teach you all these 3 in this course.
Okay.
So if you tell me that, show me an example of a front end testing, then I would say, this is the front end, right? UI. Now, the testing could be done manually and automatically. Same front end testing, and then back end testing could be done manually and automatically. Manually doing means I am doing it as a human, right? By hands and keyboard. How am I going to do that? Let's say I'm going to first test what? I'm going to open a browser and I'm going to test. If I type the URL and click enter, I'm going to see if it loads the information, brings the data. That's my test number 1, maybe, right? So I type the URL, I see, okay, fine, quickly, it came quickly, right? Within 3 seconds, so everything looks good. So that's testing, manual testing. And then I'm gonna say what I would want as a user. If I look for pen and hit enter, I want to see the pens. I don't want to see anything else. If my software gives me other product, that means there is some problems. I need to report, right? So that's the testing, manual testing. So if you're a tester, you're gonna be typing pen here, right? Number 1. And you are also testing that you are able to type. Maybe you're typing pen, you're not even able to type. This button is not able, right? That's a problem. You're going to report. Now, if you're able to type pen, this box is typable. Then you're going to hit enter, right? Button. And then when you hit enter, you're going to want to see all the pens. If in the result comes all the pen, that means your testing passes. So let's see. You see, all right. So now I got the result. Now I'm gonna see, oh, this is a pen. All these are pens. I'm checking. Now I'm checking. I'm looking deeply. Maybe this is a pencil. That's a problem, right? So, I'm checking all these details. That's why I say, in order to be a QA, you need to be able to focus, analyze in details, and check the quality and see if anything catches your eyes that is not normal, right? And that's exactly is a problem, defect, bug, whatever we call it. And that's what we need to let the developer know, that I have done this testing and I found something wrong with this, which you need to see. And all this thing, I'm just saying in a very basic way for you to understand, but to do all these, there are processes, there are tools, certain ways we have to follow, and that's exactly in this course we're gonna learn that how we do this. But just for understanding today, so this is testing, right? So we're gonna test all of these. We're gonna scroll a little bit, and we see that everything we see is spent. So that means my applications is pulling the right data, but I'm testing just the front end. I'm doing my testing through the front end. So this is the front end testing. What is the back end testing? I would leave this question for you guys to find out. And that's the database testing as well. So in order to do the back end testing, you have to learn how to connect to the back end. It's not through the front end. It's actually there. Now, do you have to go to Seattle? No, you don't have to go to where the server is. This is the server, right? But you have to learn some tools and some query language, SQL techniques to query the data directly from the database. That would be your backend testing. You guys are learning quite a bit today. And also it's getting complicated. Too many things, right? How's this so far? Give me some thumbs up.
Where are you using AI in here? I mean, in case of testing, where is the place where you can put AI?
So first of all, AI would be, to learn to identify what are the test cases. There is a use of AI to identify, write better test plans. There is AI, collecting test data. There is an AI, right? So AI is not as a technology. We will use different AI tools to make our testing activities simplified. And now the biggest part, when you go to automation, right? You know that a lot of the codes are AI written. Now, in all the automation IDEs where you'll be writing the code, IDEs has AI plugins. So you're gonna use all of these for better codings, right? And then for GitHub, for CI/CD, in every step you're gonna use different AI tools to make your life simpler and better. Does that make sense?
Yes, thanks.
Yes. So when the benefit of that is when we create your resume, we're gonna highlight AI-enabled software QA engineer. I think that would be a great thing, right? For you to highlight among a lot of other candidates. So those are the techniques.
Go ahead. Question. In terms of, for automation, obviously you have to learn some sort of coding. Would you say it's like beginner-friendly coding or?
Listen, yes. I mean, now with the AI, it actually helps QA to write more codes for automation frameworks. But if you want to get into like me, 14 years ago, I was a hardcore framework developer and coder for Capital One Bank. I was part of an agile team. So during that days, QA engineers, they were like starting with the beginning and put together an automation framework that would do the job, not as scalable and modifiable. In order to get to the next level, you need to know more coding. There's always a great level. But in order to get the job done, you only need to know how to build a framework. There's always a level high. But right now, it's completely different. Right now, there are a lot of frameworks, there are a lot of libraries you can reuse, and even AI writes the code. But you need to understand the mindset of the coding. You need to understand those concepts. Shouldn't be that hard, but it's going to take a little bit of practice. That's the scary part to all of you, right? The coding. So you're not coding, you're not writing those codes that you've seen, I've shown you. Those codes are for the developers to develop. You're not developing anything. You are testing. You are writing code to get your task automated. The testing I just showed you manually, let's say, when I do the testing manually, I have to type pen. Right? And then I have to use the mouse that here is to click in this button. But what if I could write some lines of code somewhere? They will do the same thing for me. The code will go and put this word in here called pen. And then code will go and come and click here. And code will verify all this response for me that, oh yeah, everything that I see is a pen's picture. How awesome that would be. So I don't have to do this again and again and again, same testing, right? There is a kind of testing that we need to do again and again and again. It's called regression testing. It's so hard to do it manually. Same thing again and again. So if you need to write code, how would it be that you write code to do this? That's exactly called automation testing.
আমি আপনাদের অ্যাডে দেখেছি যে আপনারা বাংলায় কি বাংলায় আমাদেরকে লেকচার দেওয়া হবে কি, বুঝিয়ে দেওয়া হবে কি?
So we have another class. We have another course that teaches in Bengali. For this in particular one, it's going to be in English. But if you need any help, we have a lot of Bengali instructors. Okay, guys. So I was saying that this is automation testing, right? First, you're going to have to learn the different part of the software. You have to think about a software engineering mindset, front end, back end, understand the more details. Then you need to kind of learn this. Okay, where we go from here in the next class, maybe when we start the batch, is from here. Let's understand. Let's look at a real life scenario. Let's understand what is the job for BA. Where does software development begin? What is the role for the UX designer? How do we design? But because before we develop something and even test, we need to design, right? So that's where we're going to start understanding this, what is all these people are doing. I don't want to get into these details today, so it gets more complicated. But I guess, what's more important for you to understand all this industry, e-commerce, hotels, flights, governments, we all use various different kinds of softwares to do our business. And the softwares are developed by software development team. So when we develop a new version of the software or change existing version of the software or do some addition to the old software, the software development team needs to go through some sort of process. And this is the process looks like: gathering the requirements, designing, developing, and testing. These are the main areas or phases of software development. And therefore, it's a lot of scratching, a lot of development, a lot of planning. Therefore, we need a team of designer, developer, tester, and business analyst. Anyone has a question?
So back to what you were saying about the automation,
Right.
it makes complete sense, right? Instead of doing the same thing over and over again, you just automate it with code so it can do it by itself. So pretty much you're saying you just have to get obviously you have to get the coding language down and learn how to build frameworks, and then you can use AI to help you tweak that and build on that.
That's correct. And you can do that in 3 months. Because I've been teaching people for 16 years. I've seen people out of no background get so interested and get doing it in 3 months.
And then in terms of, so I did a little research, obviously, before.
Oh yeah, tell us about it. Everybody likes to hear that, I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my personal research, and guess what? I use ChatGPT to give me an outlook on QA careers moving forward. And a lot of stuff that came across, it said that manual QA is those jobs are dying out a little bit. It's a little more difficult to get and it's lesser pay. Automated QAs are on the rise and more in demand. That's kind of what
That's been going on for the last 10 years. That's why we teach people like industry experts like us and other instructors. We know that. That's been given for the last 10 years. That's nothing new. That's not AI aspect. So that's why we're going to more focus on getting you guys hands-on to the automation. Now, automation itself has a lot of diversity in it. It's not just one thing, right? Not everybody uses Java. Not everybody uses Selenium. There are a lot of tools, a lot of techniques. So my question would be, which language do you learn? Then my question would be, which tools do you learn? So instead of you become an tools guy that are programming, I know Java very well. You should know how coders works. You should be an engineer first and be ready to use any tools that comes in your way. That's what we're going to do. We're going to create your foundation. First, we're going to create your testing foundation by teaching you manual testing. It's not because of that you're going to have to do a job as a manual tester. But again, if you don't learn how to do good manual testing, how would you be a good automation tester or engineer? That's your foundation. So the better foundation you build, understand that correctly, downstream in the road, next 5 years, you'll go ahead up. If I just teach you like one thing, I don't teach you anything. Like today, learn Java, learn automation, learn, building framework, put them in the market, you might still get a job, because they need people. You might still get a job. But there will be so many unknown things to you. You're not going to be able to connect the dot and see the bigger pictures. So what we're going to do for this course is to show you the bigger picture, see where you are fitting in the dot, and then slowly build up on that scale. So today is very basic stuff, and then we'll start with the manual testing, the basic of testing. Few classes is going to create a foundation. Then it's going to move on to automation, and we're going to learn more automation, diverse automation, how to use AI, how to do CI/CD. There are many parts of it, right? I don't want to bombard you guys today, but after this session, our career advisor will send you guys a course outlook. I ask you everyone to go through it. Do your due diligence on our course outlook. ChatGPT is there. If you're using it, great. I mean, ask ChatGPT that if I learn this skill set, does that match with QA jobs? Then you're gonna get more confident, to do the course. Okay, so coming back to my point, I think the team works together to complete the project until it gets kicked off and finalized. And that's exactly what you're gonna learn in the next class. It's called software development life cycle. Meaning, everything has a life cycle, right? If the team starts working together, it has the first phase, second phase, third phase. For us, is the requirement gathering, designing, development, testing, and release. These are the steps that makes up the software developer, this team's life cycle. And that's what the first kind of a theoretical lesson we're gonna start. So if you're willing to pursue this course, I mean, whether you become an automation, manual, AI enabled, not enabled, there is no skipping learning SDLC. SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. So if you're willing to pursue this course, I think, do this, right? Study that at home before you come to the next class, right? This is gonna tell you the phases. What do we do during the planning phase? And then analyzing phase, designing phase, developing phase, and then testing phase. You see, testing is a separate phase in the software development lifecycle. And that's where we come in the picture. But then question arises that do we just act up on as a QA? Do we act up on testing only? Or we have something to do in development phase? We have something to do with design phase, analyzing phase, and planning phase. That's what we need to learn slowly. And I will bring you the realistic vision, not just by book, but from what I've seen in different companies, how different team does all of these things different. Why it is important? This is most important, because when you go for an interview, they want to see whether you have previous experience of working in a real software development team or not. Okay, that's when they're gonna ask you. The first few questions in the interview would be, tell me about yourself, tell me about your last project that you've done. And your answer is very crucial, because that's the first question that makes up the first impression. Coding you'll learn later, and you become a great engineer. But first, in order to get a job, you need to be able to explain this part well. What I'm gonna show you, in a couple of classes. You need to be able to picture it, capture it in your brain, and then tell them like a storytelling, right? When you go for the interview. So very important, guys. Sometimes we don't understand. Sometimes we don't teach them well. Lot of academy wouldn't touch this well. They just focus on teaching Java and all this. But you have to get a job, right? So they'll ask you, tell me about your last project. So let's say you work for a bank, Chase Bank. Where are you gonna start? You're gonna say, okay, I worked in my last project within a software development team with some other roles, okay? BA, QA, developers. Then you have to probably tell them how many developers you work with, how many designers were there, right? If you give them this specific, they believe that you actually there are a lot of fake resumes in the industry that doesn't know anything, but so by your answer, they will identify that how much you know, or you really worked or you didn't work, kind of thing. That's crucial part, okay? So you're gonna start with the role of a QA, understanding the requirements, making test plan, preparing test cases, perform testing activities, and report the defects or bugs. When we do the testing, when we identify a problem, that's called bugs, and we need to report it to the developer through a certain tool, certain process. So these are pretty much your job, and that's what we need to start learning from next classes, right? So I think I don't want to get into further details today. We're 1.5 hours down. I think I would rather answer a few more questions today about the course and things like that. When we start the course next week, I think I will go this stuff over and over and over. Doesn't matter how many times you need to, but we'll go all together. Okay? Why software QA is important? What happens if we don't do QA properly? People die. It's that severe. So I have mentioned a incident here. Ethiopian Airlines crashed. I think it was on, I don't know when, it was on 2021, leaving 255 passengers dead. And that was due to a software bug. So what happened, the Boeing 707, these flights right here, they increased their length, but they didn't change the software. So what happened when the pilot were flying that plane, particularly this one, somehow the nose was going down, and there is a radar that reads how much is going down. That radar had a defect. The radar has software that reads, what do you call it? The sensor. I'm sorry, the sensor gives you the reading, right? How much height, how many angles you're going down. So somehow the sensor malfunctioned, and it was sending the wrong data to the software of the dashboard of the plane. So the pilot wasn't realizing how fast he was going down because of the wrong software reading due to a bug. The moment he realized he was too close to the ground, it was too late for him to pull the plane back. So it's that severe. One small bug could be end of it. Similarly, Capital One's got hacked due to a defect in the code that their developers left. They forgot. So when they write code, always there's a lot of defects. The nature of coding, right? It's not they're bad developer. It's just natural coding. They would leave a lot of defects. And we as a QA, it would be our job is to test and find them. So no company wants to take this risk of getting bankrupt, right? Things like that is the end of the company. That's why they hire a lot of QA engineers within the team. They're saying, all right, when we develop the software, do a thorough testing, front end, back end, every piece, right? Every possible way, manual automation, but make sure no defects goes to the customer. See the importance of the role of QA. So this is not just getting the job, we are also the gatekeeper, right? We can say that we're not going to leave the product to the release until we find this defect. Until these defects are solved. So you do have a lot of power within the team as well. When you get the job, you'll realize, right? You are the gatekeeper. You have to find these defects for the company to do the better software development.
So the thing is, this is what we will learn to do, and we have no experience about this from our previous work or previous services. So how are we going to say to our job providers that we have experience in this?
Because you're gonna do some internship, and we're gonna put some resume for you.
Okay.
But what I'm teaching you today, does that make sense? You're understanding anything?
Whatever
Right.
you say today, I got most of it, I believe. Yeah.
So whatever I'm gonna teach you, and anybody this instructor will teach you, you just have to go along and learn those. And the course is in many parts. The first part is just today's understanding. I don't expect anything from this class today, right? So just opening up your brain, a lot of new things you're learning. You're seeing that how you're gonna fit in a team. I'm happy. Tomorrow when I give you a TAFWare DLC, I expect you to learn that at home, right? And come back. So similarly, after the lessons and lectures, there are internships. During that time, we'll ask you to do a project, we'll give you a software, like, okay, now test, right? You need to be able to test it, do it, find the problems, defects, report it. But before that, you will learn all of these, how to do it. So after you're doing the internship, we'll create your resume. We'll make it look like a project, right? And then you'll be trained for the interview, right?
Okay.
How to say, what to say, what not to say, you'll be trained. But then you need to be able to deliver that during the interview session.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So I think, again, let's go to some of the questions, and it'll be interesting, guys. Again, check our reviews, check our style, check out trainers. we have everything we need for you to help you to get a job. But then again, most powerful thing is our 6-step process. Okay, now we are E-verified and no problems with that. Instructions are great. You just need to go and learn. Okay, instructor can get you a job if you're not learning. We'll follow this process. The course is about 6 months. I mean, the program is about 6 months. The course is 4 months. 4 months of learning, lectures, labs, hands-on, automation manual, all this will be covered, right? 4 months to 4.5 months. Sometime it could go up to 5 months. But then 1 month of internship and 1 month of preparation for the interview should make you job ready. After that, so 6 to 7 months in ideal time, you'll be job ready. You'll be so well job ready, and then you need to start interviewing until you get a job. Some people get a job in 2 weeks. Some people get a job in 6 months from the time you start. But you will get a job. That's kind of our commitment if you don't quit and stick with us. Okay, so I'm gonna take some of the questions and recommendations, concerns. A lot of people haven't talked yet. So so what are the days? What's a good days for doing the course? Some people said Friday is not a good day. So what is a good day? I'd like to hear some dates.
For me, any weekday in the evening, pretty much. Monday to Thursday, preferably.
Weekday, okay.
Yeah, that would be same for me also. Monday to Thursday.
Okay, Monday through Thursday is better. Anyone else wants to provide some ideas?
I'm Monir Hussain. I preferred Friday and Saturday.
Who else? Anyone else? Some ideas. I mean, we'll fix after that. You might have to sacrifice some of the dates and switch your schedules here and there. Listen, this is part of building the cohort team, right? We might not be able to follow everybody's schedules with too many of you, but then fix a date that works pretty much, most of them for everyone. And then you have to might just shuffle your schedule here and there a little bit. And you have to do it. If you don't do it, it doesn't show your commitment, right? Then you're not gonna do study, you're not gonna get a job. All right. I think most of you have actually learned few stuff today and learned about the course, learned about our techniques, how we are going to do it. But today I was here to just give you an information. Our career advisor, Jisan, will call all of you. I think you already spoke with him. He's gonna call all of you. If you need more sessions from him, anything you need, right? Anything you want. Our goal is to help you guys get a job, to decide. And Jisan will be with you all the time during these 6 months. He's got his other colleagues, but then mainly he is leading this batch for you guys. So you guys talk to him, let him know. He'll let you know the price. The price is very minimum. And we got installment options, one-time options. So do talk to him, right? And I would call you for my first class. I mean, he will help you to enroll in the course and guide you through what to do to enroll. And then I'll call you all the enrolled students to the first class next week. And if you have a schedule request, also put an end to him, okay? So can we call it a day today? Unless you guys have any other questions left?
Just to confirm, you're going to be teaching majority of the.
I'll be teaching majority of the course. Even though I wasn't teaching for a while, I was like too busy on other stuff. But I'm back to teaching.
All right, so we got the best man then.
So you got to be the best student.
And you intend to start the classes next week?
Next week. Yes.
Okay.
Enroll as soon as possible. Okay. I do your enrollment as soon as possible. Whoever didn't enroll, I think you enrolled already, right?
Yes, I have already enrolled. I have just only one concern about Friday because my work is on Fridays, so I won't be able to change that. If it's on Fridays, I won't be able to enroll into your class.
Right.
But otherwise, I am looking forward to.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. So we'll figure this out. We'll let you know. We'll communicate that with you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. If anything, you can always reach out to me. Jisan can share my email address and phone number with you. If you want to have more session with me, if I have time, I'm open to that. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you guys are able to decide and talk to Jisan and be able to enroll, okay? Best of luck.